check, check. Good morning. We're going to start in about a minute. If you haven't gotten coffee yet, there's coffee over in the corner, but we're going to get going here in about a minute. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Guys, we have, why do I, hold on, stand by. There it is. We have a problem. The first problem, entrepreneurs need feedback on their startups. The second problem, entrepreneurs need a place to practice presenting. And the third problem is entrepreneurs need a place to meet other entrepreneurs. I have a solution. 1 million cups. We meet here weekly, Wednesday, 9 a.m. at Green Spaces in Zoom. Free coffee and tea. And then 6-minute presentations from 2 entrepreneurs. Today we only have 1. And after their presentation, they get 15 to 20 minutes of audience feedback and questions. So some use cases for presenters. They have an idea, a product, or a startup. Ideally, they're in their teenage stage. So they're not too young, not too old. They're looking for and will receive feedback. And they want to practice presenting. So this is kind of like batting practice for them. So what type of impact are we giving these type of entrepreneurs? They get to be open and transparent. They get feedback to improve their startups and build meaningful connections as well. And we're getting some traction, just line with that's going up. I thought that's important. And who's making this happen? We have a team here, myself, Gregarious, Carter, Joseph, Ellie, Josh, Courtney. Appreciate all you do. We're always looking for more people. That can be you. Shout out to our sponsors. We have Green Spaces Co-working, The Perk, which is the coffee you're drinking right now, Good Elephant, In Crowd, Founders Craft, Colorado Lending Source, Pono Media, and the Commons on Champ. But let's give all of them a round of applause. Thank you, sponsors. And the sponsors want to do a shout out? This is the sponsor slide. Ellie, you want? No? Joe? Okay.
Hey guys, thanks for being here. On the tables is a little card, a little table tent for Join In Crowd. It's a free digital business card platform. So you can scan the QR code, create your digital card in under 2 minutes. It's free. You can create as many cards as you want for all of your side hustles. And upgrades are only $1. You will only ever pay $1 on the platform. So yeah, thanks.
Any other sponsor shout outs? Going once? Cool. So our target market is you guys, and I want to know who is new to 1 million cups today by show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. And by a show of hands, who considers themselves an entrepreneur? Good amount of you. Awesome. So we're going to do some introductions of the audience. So what I'm looking for is name, what you do, and why are you here. Looking for some volunteers so we get to know the audience. If not, I'm just going to pick on people. Anybody want to introduce themselves? I saw a hand. And now put the mic close to your mouth. These mics don't have good distance, FYI.
Yes, no problem.
Cool.
My name's Sugar Ray Lytle. Actual name, not changed. The company's called Mobile Office Strategist. We basically make everything that you do in your business fit in your pocket / optimize what you currently have. And I'm here to network, meet new people, learn and grow, just like everybody else.
Cool. And how'd you hear about 1 million cups?
My business partner actually told me, Carlos.
Carlos? Awesome. Appreciate it. Where is Carlos? Yeah, obviously. Who else would like to do introduction? Okay, over in the corner.
Hey all, my name is Corey. I'm a student at CU Denver, interning in a marketing position over at a company called Ridwell that just launched here in Denver. So first I'm here and really excited about it.
Awesome. Yeah. Why are you here?
Why am I here?
Yeah.
It's funny, I work next door at a little restaurant called Stowaway, and I had always heard about Green Spaces and figured it was the place to be for all things sustainable and business and startup and community. Yeah.
Awesome. The messaging's working.
Yeah.
Who else would like to do introduction? Going once. Okay, I'm gonna go around to, let's say Eric. Have you say hi? Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey everybody, my name is Eric. I'm an investor at a VC fund out of New York City, but I love Colorado, so enjoying to hang out here. Here just to meet people and get plugged into community. Found 1 million cups through Ali and Nick here. Super excited to meet folks. So love to chat after this.
Try and convince Eric to stay. He's gonna be moving. Any other takers? Okay, awesome. Well, later on today, we're going to be doing some community announcements. So if you have anything you might want to share, start thinking what you might want to say. So our product, we have a website, 1millioncups.com/Denver. This is where you can go to see who's presenting each week. You can also follow us. We send out a weekly newsletter on who's presenting. Before we get into our first presenter, just want to let you guys know that they're here for your feedback. So during the presentation, think of maybe one thing to give them feedback on or a question. The more dialogue we have, the better this event is. If they're just talking, it gets kind of boring. So just keep that in mind. People on Zoom, if you are there, if you do have questions, please type them into Zoom chat and I will repeat them back out. So moving on to our presenter, you ready? Okay. Inspire Universal. Universally designed smart furniture. The Inspire table is the first electronic desk with multiple angles of movement for the perfect position for every activity. By a simple touch of a button and memory settings, bring the desk into reach with ease. Let's give a big round of applause to Nicole. Clap, 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 clap. And I will stop my share screen. Yeah. You want me to move? You want to be out? Okay. Get out of your way. Sorry.
So this is interesting. I don't know where to look for everybody. Here, I'll go like this. If I look this way, then Zoom is actually part of the of the group then. So morning everyone, I'm Nicole Contos. I'm the founder of Inspire Universal, and I'll tell you more about myself here in a moment. So 61 million people in the US alone have a disability. And so that's you, that's me, that's your friends, that's family. There's 1 in 4 people. So there's a good chance that besides myself, there are multiple people in this room who have a disability. But the world's not designed for folks universally. So I do have a disability. I have a neurologic pain sensory disorder, and I often use a cane. But you probably wouldn't think that. I'm still active, I still do things. Would you see me different if I used a wheelchair? So many people, the impairment, what we kind of put people in a box, it's based on what we think of folks, right? And so it's what we see in the environment. We're talking about mostly environmental ramps. So the picture there on the left, that's, you know, somebody's ADA ramp, right? Not exactly very functional for anyone. And then you have something that can be beautifully designed. Same concept, a ramp to get us up and downstairs. One is beautiful and functional, and one is not so much. But that's not the same for everything else. So if you look around, we have all these tables in here. They're different heights, but they're all static and they stay the same. Not everyone can stand at them, not everyone can sit at them, and our ergonomics are often pretty bad, right? Our laptops are in the computer, we're hunched over. So universal design, we're taking in the concepts so that everybody can utilize an object. So we're not just thinking about the able-bodied, we're thinking about if you have a mobility disability or impairment, you have a visual impairment, hearing, something along those lines. So more people can utilize your products and services. As I said, right now, tables and desks aren't exactly that universal. Things are starting to come out, but especially in the community for people with disabilities, this is what's been out there. And that top left picture there is the table that most therapists recommend often, right? So none of these tables are very beautiful. It's very institutional. So what we're creating is something new. So Inspire Universal, the first electronic desk with multiple angles of motion. And so everyone can have ergonomics at the touch of a button. So there's a lot of people out there doing sit to stand desks. There's a lot of people doing tilt tables like architect tables, but most people are not putting this in all together. So we do have some newer drawings, but these are from a previous model. But the table itself, it's gonna, what it is, we have a functional prototype, and the table surface is what's going to move. So the table surface moves right and left. It tilts up and down. The desk itself is on sit to stand legs, so it's gonna go higher and lower. And then in any one of those positions, the table surface can also move further and closer to an individual, so that we are creating a space where somebody can reach and see. This allows for multiple people to utilize the same table. It allows somebody by the touch of a button to move their surface and move it just small increments at a time. We can also save favorites. So the favorite setting, once you have it, will save just like a car seat does. You can save your favorite position so that you can say, go home, and you press home and it'll move in all of those motions at once. In the picture here, it has a button switch. Right in front of it's our new model. It has a electronic interface. And so it's paired with any Bluetooth or USB switch, which also means any way you control your phone, you'll be able to control this table. So for a user who doesn't have any hand function, then they can use their Hey Siri, move table home, and the table will move for them. For a wheelchair user in a power chair that has like a joystick, any way that they move their power wheelchair, it can pair to the table, and that's how they can access their environment. This gives people the freedom for the first time. I've had some parents who have tried this out and they've been able to help their kids with homework. And a woman who was able to finally read the newspaper without it being completely crooked. So that was 1 ounce of freedom back to her. So it's gonna come in different models. So we're gonna have a nice simple model, which just has the tilt and height for folks. Full value, get all the motions, and eventually a rotational feature as well. The big one that no one's doing right now, the #1 wheelchair accessory sold for folks is a lap tray. So it's kind of like the ones with the mesh that you put on your lap, but it just you go around with it. It's flat and no one uses it. And so a functional table that people can take with them. The most requested was a bedside table in recent market research, and then a module design that we can utilize for like dining rooms. This is going to be a private pay. We also have an option to apply so people can use their insurance, which will be great here down the road. So as I said, there's a lot of people out there and with disabilities, but even more so, people tend to purchase items from companies who are doing good in the world, and 73% of consumers have someone in their life that has a disability. COVID changed a lot of things for us. Two, there's a lot more awareness for ergonomics and desks, home, and then also more people working from home. But at the same time, people also need those ergonomic spaces. This person in a wheelchair at the table, that's most of us every day, right? Sitting at random places around. And my battery is about to die. Ellie, my charger is back there. You got it. So initial target market, people with disabilities, as I said, but we're going to be launching into other areas as well. It's not a small market. There's $500 million is what it's projected to be in the next few years for the smart furniture industry. So heading to market. So right now we have a functional prototype. We're going to have it out launching here coming up. Been networking in with clinics and hospitals around this area and outside of the community. Really going to push hard for social and the Google searches. We have a lineup of people who are interested in helping on the influencer side. Big one for us this year, that'll be going to a couple different trade shows, therapy trade shows, and then getting into some school systems eventually as well. So been communicating with a lot of folks around the city, and then building a lot of really great relationships with folks who are ready to help promote, sell, buy the table once we can get it out into market. Great conversations happening with some folks on the East Coast as well who have asked for a model in their showroom. So super exciting. We're gonna actually officially just get out there and launch this and do some more market research. You've all heard me talk about the Shine Festival, but I'm utilizing that as a stage to help launch this product, and also the custom adaptive designs so we can get a little bit more feedback on what other designs people are going to want, because really the future is bright for this, where we're bringing it into cabinets and shelving beyond just tables. And eventually we do want to create some sort of space for therapists and incubators. Myself, I am an occupational therapist, which is how I got started in all of this. Griffin, who I think is on the line, he's helping me out with some engineering, but really looking to grow a community with a team who are passionate about helping folks and universally creating some product. And so that want just general feedback on concepts, ideas, partnerships, people you might know, we are looking to raise money. I've kind of gone as far as I can on the cookie and beer fund, and also the I'm paycheck to paycheck trying to help produce this, and now really looking for some money to get out there. So if you know of anybody with pitch contests or anything like that, or grants, looking for help on grant writing, and then just follow and share within your community. So.
All right, round of applause for Nicole. I'm really glad you didn't table this idea. Like a minute, like a couple minutes ago, I like wrote it down. First,
I know.
what's that? No. There's one in the slide deck. Anyway, first off, what feedback are you looking for on your presentation or business? What do you want from the audience?
So I already know the presentation's a little rough because I'm kind of moving things around. So if you have ideas on some stuff, let me know. I had a couple recent pivots, and so everything's kind of scattered. But any feedback on that? Any kind of general feedback, business idea? Like I said, we're really trying to like grow from here and get outside of my garage. So kind of I'm open to any and all. So you can just throw it at me.
Okay. Who wants to start? We'll go with George.
All right, first of all, fantastic presentation, really, really cool product. I think the product and the market and the go-to-market is spectacular and right on. I guess just a question, and I might have just missed it. Did you include a point where you talk about the price point?
No, great question. That is what I'm working through right now. So my ideal is that we're able to keep, that's why I want to have those different couple models. So same technology, just not all of the features, to be able to keep it at a smaller price point for those who are on a smaller budget. And so we're looking at doing that table for, goal is $500 less just the tilt table. The full value table, we're sitting at probably about $2,000 right now, but that's garage pricing.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I guess just a small piece of feedback, and I think everything was fantastic. I don't really think it was too rocky. But just a small piece of feedback, when you showed the different table competitors, you were like, here's the options, and then you went in to talk about the features, and I could tell like how your table is much more versatile and everything, but you also included the price points on the competitors. And I guess that just led me to expect that like you were going to be like, and we're $199 or something like that. So I guess just like that setup there.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, it was on a different slide deck. I forgot to put it back in.
Oh, okay, great.
So thanks for the reminder.
You've already thought about it. So that's perfect.
Appreciate that. You're right.
Hey there. Really nice job today. I come from my background in, I worked for 13 years at Dell. And as soon as I saw this, I thought, we'd have in the facilities and operations group, there was somebody that would ensure that your workstation was ergonomically configured to fit you. And I thought as they potentially need to respond to needs outside of what's normal, or not normal, but, or like what fits most people, that's where I think your desk could come in. And so I think like high-end corporate partnerships for very large organizations. I don't know how hard it is to get in there, but it seems like the right solution when they may not have any other options.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And if you happen to know the HR director still or anyone over there, let me know. But yeah, that's kind of like the desk itself, just straight as a desk, really has the potential to suit a lot of different users. So even if you are able-bodied, then it still works for you because it gives you the sit to stand desk. And then when you're not working on your, up screen monitor and you're just doing paperwork, you can tilt and stand at the same time and write here instead of writing down here. And so that gives a lot of functionality. Same thing in conference rooms. So yeah, if anyone knows anybody in those kind of realms, especially locally here that we can get started with, please introduce me.
All right, who? Gregarious?
Yeah, I just had a cool question because I damn, this microphone, I never can speak into it right. I guess related to that, I understand sort of the approach starting from like sort of people with special requirements in their work in their environment, but there's a lot of geeks and other kinds of people. Like it feels like it's a very broadly applicable product if you don't narrowcast it. Like there's no need to necessarily frame it in this domain per se. Like so it almost like I think you could widen the market for this significantly to like anyone with a desk or any gamer who might get a desk or anyone who wants sort of the ultimate flexibility in configuring their environment as opposed and you can still do marketing for the other segments. But I almost think like from this point of view for this presentation, I would really hope that you look at it as broadly as possible, right? And I think that smart desk thing that number is probably inclusive of everything as opposed to sort of like the specialty realm.
Yeah, definitely. I was giving that a lot of thought, and I've we can talk later if you got some thoughts, because I've been presenting this so much previously and the other aspects of the company that I work with in disabilities that we talk about everything else, but I haven't included it well in the presentation just because it was initially designed with other people in mind too. So yeah, thank you.
Great feedback, Gregarious. Allie.
Yeah, just going off what Gregarious said, I feel like expanding it to everyone is scary, kind of, because then it's like, what problem are you solving if it's for everyone? But I think the ergonomics problem itself is enough of like an issue that people will they do recognize it. They feel their back hurting when they're sitting at a random table at a coffee shop, and like every person can relate to that. Like the other day you were like, we gotta fix your ergonomics, and you pointed it out, and I was like, oh gosh, I didn't even realize. So that could take place of the disabilities argument problem, maybe.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Going back to the pricing, I think if I was an investor, I would also want to know like what are your current costs right now and what are your plans for bringing those costs down. Obviously, when you're prototyping and you're in your garage, the costs are going to be really high. And so, where are you looking at manufacturing and what are those costs going to look like? I think especially if you are looking to raise money, I think including that and then what your margin would be and how as you expand production, those costs will be brought down. Like that would make me feel really confident in investing in you because I think that you got a great presentation, a really great product, seems like a huge market. But what are those costs? And if it's so out of reach for people, like how is it going to be affordable for people? And I think that also where you have the disabilities and the insurance kind of thing, or targeting corporates who can pay this and who are paying a lot of money already for ergonomic desks for their people, to then be able to start mass producing and bringing those costs down for normal people in their homes. I think that's a really great way to frame it.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hello. Yeah. So I love the idea. I think when you speak about disability, I think of like older people until you gave me the stats. So I think what would be a great idea if you have time for this is maybe like have an app. I'm just imagining myself walking by this table versus a table that's priced a little bit lower. I would pick this if it has an app. It's like, okay, how tall are you? How much do you weigh? To make it easier for me, because automatically disability, I'm just like, okay, older people on Medicaid or Medicare, can afford this. I can't afford this. But especially with, a lot of us younger generations are working from home now, and that's kind of like the future. I do think, an app, something that's a little bit more friendly for us, kind of draws that picture for, people like myself.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And if anybody knows anyone who is an app developer, especially one who can take the software that we already have on the Raspberry Pi and translate it over to an app, so we can have all of it into one place, please come talk to me, because that's exactly kind of, I love the idea though of like the height and the weight and being able to kind of categorize that on like how best to set it up with tips and tricks in there. So I love that suggestion, but thank you. Yeah.
More for your plate there, build a table and an app. No.
Well, the app was already the plan. So yeah, the app was already the plan, because that is how you have an option hands-free to be able to utilize it. Most people have a smartphone, touch screen, laptop, whatever it is, we're tied into technology. So the whole table, and that's a really big differentiator for us, and I probably didn't add that enough in, is that the entire table can be controlled from the app, or it can be a physical touch button. So it's all in one, but I love the idea of adding some ergonomic tips and tricks in there as well for folks.
Do you have a slogan? Because I might have one.
I don't know if I want yours. Let's hear it. No, I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Let's meet at the table. All right, who's next?
I know that you have been waiting for a long time with all of these table puns for this.
Great presentation. I'm gonna get more into like the emotional part. So I have a cousin that has a disability, and you touch a couple points how your desk changed a couple people. It's kind of small part of the presentation. I'm assuming you're waiting to get more feedback from other people, but it's very important, I think, to be able to touch those cases because, like you said, there's a lot of family members that have that. So if I know when my cousin gets like a mouse that fits him perfectly, like he gets very excited. And a mouse, I can use any mouse, right? But for him, it's a big deal. So like those little details are, for me, in the emotional part is very important to be able to tackle that with the people around you.
Yeah,
but
awesome.
Great stuff.
Thank you. Yeah. I didn't mention, but the initial, where I originally came up with this idea, so as I said, I'm an occupational therapist, specialized in neurologic and traumatic injuries. And I originally designed this table while working with individuals who had new spinal cord injuries, working on their range of motion. Because when we're in a competitive state in our mind, whether we're gaming or whatever, your brain, even no matter how many times you have somebody tell you to relax, your brain and stuff doesn't want to, like you just compete against each other. So I do a lot of art therapy to help increase range of motion, decrease pain. And every time somebody wanted to have the canvas moved up or to the side, tilted, they had to stop their creative flow and then ask me to do it. And that's where the original design came from, was I was like, we have to create something that allows people some independence and giving some freedom of movement and self back to folks, maybe for the first time.
All right, great feedback. Who else? I'm gonna Courtney.
I love the direction that it's going. I think I would invite you to position the pitch or the deck for an investor and represent possibly here even in like a month or so. If you came in and presented it and said, hey guys, I'm gonna present like you're my investors, and the only question at the end of it is, would you invest, or would you give me money, or would you spend $500? I think we'll be able to give more specific feedback, because it seems like the presentation is geared around the design of it, and it seems like what you want us to say is cool, which it is cool, but that doesn't seem to be helpful or what you're really asking for. So I would say the design and the concept you already know is right because of your expertise, because of your experience, because of your profession. As none of us are disabled, some of us may be touched by disabilities, but I don't know that we could feedback on, yeah, the side to side thing really makes a difference. But we could feedback on like, yeah, I'd pay $500, or to Gregarius's point, I'm a gamer and I want this table. And I think that could really give you some proof of concept and tell you how to adjust that pitch to seem like the value proposition is greater. Because right now I'm like, it's neat. And I know you do great work, so I'm not worried about any of that just because of our personal relationship. But I think as a community, we could offer you a lot more support if you came back. And so that would be my invitation.
Cool.
Just like, come
Thanks.
back and pitch us.
Totally.
Maybe we'll invest.
I'm going to take the feedback that I'm getting here, and then I will definitely do that. Thanks, Courtney.
So we've touched on price point, but one of the things is I didn't hear, I don't know that you have all the components in place where you're asking for help for the app. I would avoid the price thing altogether. And just a general rule of thumb, uh, try not to be the cheapest. Out innovate, out, feature, actually be the creme de la creme. But don't try to price gouge and try to be the cheapest because I don't think that's where you're going. I think that you're looking to offer a superior product. So don't play the price point game.
Cool.
And if you are trying to make it accessible, anytime I've ever dealt with people who are like, yeah, but that's the point is they can't afford it, have scholarships, have people apply, and it's easy enough to discount something like on a scholarship basis, then it's all in a transaction state. Like you said, people are expecting $1,000 desk. And when you're like, oh, well, we have a scholarship available for $500, it may be a $500 off coupon, or you can find someone to actually fill a scholarship fund as a capitalist.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. And as an occupational therapist, I do have the capability to write that letter that people need. So I am creating a letter for insurance that people can submit on their own to help get reimbursement for it off of their other funds. But people with disabilities have more money. There's $500 million of discretionary income. So there's a lot of money out there because they've got grants and stuff for other stuff. So it's just a matter of where we spend our money.
Awesome. We have time for a couple more questions.
Hi, great presentation. Just on the slideshow side, and I'm thinking from a sales aspect, all about sales. So in that aspect, having some slides that would show the motion, showing it being used with the person would help bring the point home. Show like an artist drawing something and then, oh, I need to go to the left, and showing how it implements into their life versus just talking about it would help. Also some comparisons on like the limitations. Like I know you talked about the other desks and what they can do, and you showed some models, but be like, hey, this is the top number. These are the things it cannot do, and then these are the things that mine can do. Just as an alternative way to show it. But overall, love the presentation. All the feedback was great. I think it's really going to help, like as a whole, as you develop it. But like you said, with your pitches too, with the people that you're pitching it to, I think you should have separate pitches if it would help for different companies, like your school pitch. I have people in the school system that if you angled it the right way, you'll get that whole market. You know what I mean? Versus how I'm gonna pivot it to the people with the disabilities versus the artists and the gamers. And I just think that overall concept would just help reach everybody as a whole instead of, like you say, they feel it's going one direction. But that initial how you present it will be like, oh, this fits all of us. Let's talk about how we can do that.
Cool. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's got my brain going a little bit. Appreciate that.
All right, great feedback.
In a good way.
Hey, great presentation. Learned a lot about the product. I think this kind of echoes what folks said earlier, but could you go back to your team slide that I think was at the end?
There wasn't much of us on the team.
Yeah, it was two pictures, and then what I'm been thinking about when I looked at that slide, and I'm probably coming in from like an investor point of view, but
Sure.
especially at the super early stage, if you're trying to find some capital, maybe it's angel investors. We invest at the seed stage, but a lot of times we think about what's the experience and what's the life story of the founders. And I feel like I learned a lot from the Q&A portion about you that got me excited, but during the former presentation part of it, it didn't really come through. We'll look at a company, we're like, I don't know about this tech or I don't know about this market, but these founders are going to crush it because they're awesome. They have this experience. Not play up, but speak to your experience, how the type of work you've done, how much time do you spend in it, for both yourself and your co-founders. That's something I recommend.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll spend some more time. I've always had a hard time like figuring out how much time you spend on what you highlight places on things, but that's helpful. Thank you.
All right. Who else? Allie, did I see your hand?
Yeah. on your go to market, it seemed just from a founder's perspective, it seemed like a lot of different channels and ways of reaching out, or strategies. And I'm wondering, like, if you could pick one way, what would that be? And like, one way to focus on, would it be reaching out to hospitals or schools, or would it be on the influencer side of things? Would it be social media campaigns? Because I guess I'm a little confused about who your initial target customer is. Is it an individual who would see it on social media, or is it like a bigger, like the corporations, which I think is a great idea? So yeah.
Yeah, great question. So I what I've been focusing on most because of my background is the clinics and hospitals, and the rehab side of things, and targeting from a rehab perspective the top hospitals where everybody else looks. I was fortunate to work at one and have a really great connection and working relationship. So that from the rehab perspective is there. And then talking to some people in like that do vending and things. So I guess it's like two separate things. And maybe that's how I need to phrase it, is that it's this rehab side, and then it's like the rest of the world side of like the commercial and then the individual kind of user, because I feel like there a little bit of it is two different approaches, or kind of a lot of different approaches. So maybe that's how we start to narrow it down. But yeah, I'm with you.
All right. Great feedback. Allie, I have a final question for you. What as a community can we do for you? You. Oh, I said no. I thought I said thank you, Allie. No? Okay. Yeah, sorry. Segue. Pause, Nicole.
I guess the big thing, this was super helpful, and I'm definitely gonna like put it all in. It's helping me kind of refocus a little bit on how to maybe direct what we're doing. But really kind of any kind of connections. And like I said, I'm really am trying to grow. Like I would love to be able to grow a team of people who are actually passionate about things like this and want to stick with it and move forward, because we need more help. And so if it's you, if it's somebody you know, would really love to just get more connected into the community and the surrounding areas with folks. So connections, and then just kind of sharing it. And then come check it out. If you want to like actually see it in action in person, come to the music festival on August 8th, and it'll be there. Find my booth and we'll have it. So if you want to actually check it out in person, see what it does, then come there.
Let's meet at the table.
Meet at the table. You'll see it.
It's catchy. All right, round of applause for Nicole. Great job. Awesome. So we're going to move on to some community announcements. Anybody have an event they're going to or hosting they would like to share? Anyone? Allie? Okay.
I'll just reiterate the Shine Music Festival, because I know that Nicole has switched brains today and is talking about her tables. But she is also a wonderful, but she's contributing to this festival and is in charge of all of the accessibility. So this is a accessible music festival. It's meant for everyone, and with a special emphasis on accessibility. So like you go to Rockies game and there's a separate section for wheelchairs, right? And you're like, okay, I can't, as a person not in a wheelchair, it'd be weird for me to enter that section and like mingle with them, and they're being like closed off. So the idea of this festival is like, what if everyone could like just hang out together, enjoy a music festival? There's also a lot of really cool things that Nicole is doing around like the day of activities like yoga. There's a vibrating dance floor where people can feel the music, and even like it's called full body sound, where they like you can feel the vibration of the music in your body, which is really cool. So this festival is on August 8th. It starts at noon ish and then it goes like till 8 o'clock. It's at the Levitt Pavilion. And you can find it on my company's app. It's called Good Elephant. So if you download the app, look for August 8th, you can sign up for the festival. It's a pay what you can festival. So you're welcome to come for free. Our suggested price is $25 for it. So please join us. It's going to be awesome. And you can see the table. You can meet at the table.
Great job. Hopefully this is not competing with Good Elephant. I was going to create a meetup for the event. I'm going to show up. So if people want to hang out with me, you can. And so I'll put that on our meetup group to organize a group. All right. Go ahead, Joe.
Just a reminder, if you guys were inspired to present, there are QR codes in front of you for the Got the Next Big Idea. Scan it, bookmark the page, and apply to present. We could definitely use more presenters, and we would love to give feedback. If you enjoyed the experience today, we invite you to be up on the stage.
Cool. Do you have anything, Josh? All right.
Hi guys, today I have an event at 1550 Weewata, which is the Triangle Building. It is a lunch and learn event, but really it's just going to be a conversation about how to build and scale a sales team, as well as retain them, because it can be expensive to lose salespeople. If anybody's interested, please come. We'll have lunch. Again, we're just looking to be conversational. We're going to talk about compensation for sales teams, what we're seeing that's important to them. Those type of things. So if you have any interest, please feel free to join us today. We'll be there from 11:30 to 1, but we'll start the presentation right around noon.
Cool. Thank you, Josh. Any other announcements? Courtney?
Just that I'm so excited about the new spelling of announcements.
Not perfect. It was a test. You got it. You're a winner of a mug. You're welcome, and I'll fill with coffee too. You're welcome. Any other announcements? Great. And any of these events, if you can share them on our LinkedIn group or email denver@1millioncups.com, and I'll show them share them on it as well. Sorry, tongue twisted. So join us again next week. We'll be here August 5th here at Green Spaces, also on Zoom. And that's the roadmap. Hopefully you're enjoying my categories. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So marketing, if you guys can, word of mouth is the best way for us to spread the word about 1 Million Cups. So if you know anybody that's interested in entrepreneurship or would love to present, let them know about 1 Million Cups. Refer them to our website. All the information's there. Follow us on social media as well. Just let you guys know you're awesome. Without you, this wouldn't be happening. Please spread the word how awesome it is. I really appreciate you guys coming out here every week. The competitive advantage is my puns. So, when are most frogs born? In a leap year. Okay. Silence. Silence is fine. It's good. So that's all I have. Please take some swag if you want it. There's mugs, there's shirts. If you do take a shirt, you have to wear it. That's requirements. Out in public, spread the word. You're welcome to hang out for the next half hour here, mingle. If you want to stay for the day, you can for free. Just check in the front with Holden and hang out for a while and connect. So thanks for coming out. Round of applause for everybody for coming out today. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.